Welcome back to SoulBack. This is the R&B podcast. Kyle here back with Tom and Ed. We've been gone for a while.
Oh yeah, it's been a minute, and props to you two for holding it down while your boy had his absence. I had some stuff going on. I went to the motherland, went to VA to see my folks. So props to my boys for holding it down until I got back in the seat.
Do you guys realize something? This is the #1 R&B podcast. If you don't believe me, go and Google it, see what comes up first. And all three of us have not been in the same room at the same time together.
That's what's crazy. People think, I have talked to people and they really think that like we're like roommates or something. I was like, I have only seen Tom in person one time. I've never spent time in person with Kyle, even though I talk to him almost every day. Mm-hmm. So that shows the chemistry and that the connective love of R&B can bring with folks. We're all over the world, but yes, #1 with the receipts.
Well, since we're all in separate rooms, can we have names for our rooms? Like, Ed, what is your room called over there?
My room?
Or your studio, I guess.
It has to be Soul and Stereo Studios because that's always been the name. This is where the magic happens, where your favorite artist cuss me out and I read the emails on my phone. So that's got to be what it is.
I was expecting Bowser's Castle, but...
Oh, yes. I should have. Yes, I should have. My fault.
Tom, what is your studio name?
Well, you actually reminded me of something we discussed probably a few years ago now. We used to refer to where we recorded our podcast as the Grilled Chicken Studios or something like that.
Oh, my God. Yes.
We're keeping that name.
Wow.
I forgot about Grilled Chicken Studios.
And for my room, because Tom made me change my whole backdrop, so I have gold curtains behind me. Ed, you'll love this one. We'll call this one Shattered Dreams.
What? I thought you were going to say hotels, but because I'll go with Shattered Dreams.
Oh, is that move legal? Doesn't he kick him in the nuts?
But if you look at the physics, he's actually kicking the turnbuckle that hits him in the nut. So it's not a direct nut shot. These are wrestling physics people.
Oh boy.
You asked.
Tom, a lot of great stuff that happened last week with the Grammys. I want to give a shout out to Ledisi, who won her first ever Grammy.
Long overdue.
Good friend of ours. Just Tom, talk about that because we've been covering Ledisi for years.
You guys know I love to speak about the Grammys. I'm just going to speak about Ledisi in general.
Yes.
Easily one of her generation's most talented artists. Has given us some of the best music. Doesn't always go appreciated, as we can see from the Grammys now, just honoring her. But man, what a voice, what an artist, and we love Ledisi, Ed. We love her.
Absolutely love her. And I didn't see the Grammys. I was on the road. I missed them. But from what I saw from the results this year, there was actually some deserved winners. I feel like everybody, at least in the R&B and hip hop categories, won who should have won. And in my opinion, I thought Ledisi had the best R&B album of the year last year. She deserved the flowers. So I'm glad to see the Grammys actually honoring the best of the best and not the best of the most hyped of that year.
Amazing. Her one as well. PJ Morton, a handful of people won. But Tom, we're not talking about the Grammys right now. We're talking about winners in other ways. From my understanding, you have an R&B trivia. And shout outs to Tom. He was doing R&B trivias on Instagram last week. A lot of great participants. Nicolette, I think she's in here. She was in there and she did great. I think she went like perfect.
I think she might have missed one, or maybe I don't remember, but she was up there with the best results. She did really good.
Yeah. So, Tom, from my understanding, now you have a trivia for us to see if we're really the true R&B experts.
We're going to do a scaled down version of Tom's trivia. I love doing these trivias, guys, because especially you two should know everything I have to ask. So we don't want to look dumb here.
We shall see about that.
So I put together 5 categories. Some of these were recycled, the categories I used on the trivia last week, whoever was on there. I didn't recycle the questions, though. These are ones I didn't use. So we're going to start with the first category. This is the internet's one-hit wonders, not people I call one-hit wonders. It's who the internet is referring to them as. I'll name a song. You name that artist. I'll name their one hit. Ed, yours is first. The song is called The Rain.
Are we talking about my man Orange Juice Jones?
Yes.
Wow.
Here we are. You got it.
With the best outro in R&B history, where he just dressed down that. Oh my! Y'all get talking about getting canceled. That brother talked to a lady like that today to think pieces would be flying.
Oh man.
Oh boy. Kyle,
I'm impressed.
that's good. Kyle, your
that-
song is Liar. Name the artist.
That would
Kyle,
be.
you know this.
That's Profile.
Profile. Yes. Yes. Haven't quite heard from them since. But shout out to Profile.
Yep.
I remember we brought them up a few episodes ago, and someone yelled at us for not talking about them more. So I don't
Yeah.
forget about that.
Yeah, their album is actually.
was clearly
They have
in the
two.
chat.
They have 2 albums, right?
Yeah, they do.
Yeah, they do.
They have some solid songs on both.
They do. They
Yeah.
do.
Yeah.
All right. Next category. Last album by. I'm going to name an artist. You tell me the last album they released.
Okay.
Ed, yours is Dwelle.
Ooh.
Oh my god. Boy, I can't name anything other than Subject.
No,
You got me on this
Ed.
one.
Ed.
I can't remember the last album he put out. He's only got a
Ed.
handful. Don't remember that.
Oh, Ed's got some homework to do. Greater Than One was the album. I think it was 2013.
Yeah.
Really good album, actually. I really like it.
You're right.
So, man, Ed, I thought that would have been easy for you. All right.
No, I don't know that one.
Tom, think about it. That was 8 years ago. Not only have we not heard an album from Dwelle, but 2013, 2012, that was 8 years ago. We're old.
What
It
even
feels like
happened?
80.
What happened 8 months ago? I don't even remember.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Kyle, yours is harder.
Okay.
The
Harder.
artist is Tamia.
Oh, come on. I know that.
Come on. Isn't it Passion Like Fire? That's the album name, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes,
Yes.
it is. You got it.
Okay.
All right.
I was trying to
Look at
figure out
him
the
getting-
name because
They're getting the softballs, and I get the hard.
All right,
I'll
Ed,
check-
this is an easy one. Next
Okay.
category. This is the how many albums has this artist released category. I'll name an artist. You tell me how many albums they've came out with.
This is not easy, but go ahead.
Yours is Music Soul Child.
Oh, you
my
can do
God.
this. You can do
Oh
this.
no! Well, Tom can do this. Are we counting Hustle and Purple Wonder
No,
Pants?
albums. Albums by Music
Okay,
Soul Child.
hold on.
Wait, are we
I'm gonna
counting?
go-
Are we counting the Selena Johnson album?
That's not
No,
an
if we're
album,
not
it's an
counting
EP.
those,
Oh,
That's an EP.
that's the same thing at this point.
let me count them in my head. So we got 1, 2, 3, 4. Music in the Magic. 7, 8. I ranked them, so I should know this. It's either 8 or 9. I'm gonna go with 9.
Oh,
Eight.
Ed.
Ed.
8? Oh, I
Ed.
counted the Selena Johnson one. No. I was
We
close.
just
We just.
close.
I
just
know, but
oh.
in my brain, I counted that one. Yeah.
Oh
All
my-
right, all right. Good job. Kyle, yours is harder. Tidra Moses.
What?
2.
Yes, you're right.
Yeah,
That's
she's just
kind of
dropped
like
2.
that's like a trick question, actually. You
That
know?
was a very trick question.
Well,
And
those-
an
It seems
easy
like
one.
she's released like 7.
Yeah, those
but it's actually
mixtapes.
2. Yeah.
Those are
Mixtape.
mixtapes. They don't count.
But they sound like
All right.
albums.
So far, Kyle's running away with this thing.
Yeah.
We'll move
Well,
on.
well, of course, if he's got these easy questions, I'm doing algebra. He's doing second grade math.
All right, all right. We'll make up for it with the last 2 categories. Name 3
Okay.
songs by it. I'll name the artist. You name 3 songs by this artist.
Okay.
Ed, your artist is Portrait.
Oh,
boy.
my God.
Our favorite group. Our favorite group on the podcast.
You should be able to name a lot of songs off that classic second album, man.
Who am I? Soul Child? What's the big song?
Oh man.
Why am I'm blanking on every Portrait song because
Which
I'm
bi-
thinking of Profile right now.
Which one of the big songs, Ed? They've got plenty.
They've got plenty.
Plenty.
Mm.
I'm gonna have to acquiesce on this one because, like, I cannot think. What's the
Shout
big?
out-
The
No,
big
they had
song.
They had the one big song. Why can't I think of it now either? For some reason,
See, it's like
I'm thinking of Christopher Williams. I'm Dreaming. That's not.
no, it's not. I'm
No.
dreaming.
It's a song it's a similar song to that. I feel it's like an up tempo New Jack Swing.
Well,
song.
yeah, y'all know how I feel about New Jack Swing because I feel like all of them kind of sound the same.
Oh, you're to get in trouble, Ed.
Yeah, that's awful.
Well,
Yeah. Kyle, rebuttal on this one?
Liar? Wait, that's Profile. Sorry.
No.
yes,
we're gonna move
Profile
on.
is in my brain.
we're all gonna take the L on this one and
All right.
and move on to Kyle's. Kyle,
All right.
you have the hard one for this category. Yours is Miguel.
Oh man.
What?
Oh
Come
man.
on now.
What's the big song? Adorn? What's that other big song? Sure Thing?
Yep.
And Ed, just to flex a little bit,
Uh-huh.
I'll even name an album cut for you.
Go ahead.
Let's go with Kaleidoscope Dream, which is also the name of the
Wow.
album. Call me an R&B expert, guys.
I thought you were gonna say Banana Clip. Isn't that a song?
Oh yes, that's an amazing song.
That is
too.
a song. Shout out to Stevie. Stevie reminded me, it's Here We Go Again. I could think of the
There we
chorus,
go.
I couldn't think of the song.
There you go.
But yes,
All right.
that's all I got for poor profile. I'm sure someone will take my R&B card because I was blanking.
Portrait, not
All right.
profile.
Last category. First single released by. Tell me.
Okay.
I'll name an artist. You tell me the first single they ever put out. Ed, you have the easy one this time. Blackstreet.
Shout out to Dave. Wait a minute. I was gonna say that was their first one, but is that their first one? Gosh,
Listen, I
the song.
verified these answers on Wikipedia. So
And when are they ever wrong, right?
Well, according to Wikipedia, people have children that they don't have. Gosh, what is the name of? Why I'm tired. I am totally wiped out from this trip. I can't even think of.
I think I
Can
know
I
it
get a
actually.
kiss goodbye? Why am I blanking on everything today? Before I let go.
no,
What's
It's not,
that?
right?
No, that wasn't the first song. That wasn't the first song.
according to Wikipedia, that's incorrect. Kyle, do you know?
Is it Booty Call?
No.
No.
Maybe.
No, that's
maybe.
not the first song.
The answer on Wikipedia was "Baby Be Mine."
How well did it do on the charts?
Not well.
No, that was not the first hit. And that's why I was like, I know that was not the first song.
It was the first song released as a single. Ed,
Yes, but it was not the first
I
hit.
figured you'd be all over that.
Wait,
But-
so what's number 2 then? Was it then Booty Call or was it before?
I don't. This is.
I think
not
it's
part of
Before I Let Go was the second one. See,
Great
now I
album.
gotta look.
That's a good album. Really good
All right.
album.
Finish up with Kyle's artist. I'm going to name this one. Kyle, you got the hard one once again. I gave you. All
I'm
the
sure
hard
he'll
ones.
name
man.
Mario or some other softball.
No, Tony Braxton.
Oh
Ooh.
my God, that is easy.
That's not easy.
Yes, it is.
Is
We're
it?
talking what, like 92?
Yeah, I was 2 at that time, Ed. I was wearing diapers.
Oh, well, yeah.
Tom, have you started feeding your baby applesauce?
Of course, he loves that.
Yeah.
He'll sit there and keep asking for more.
That is actually real. Have you? What about the green mush? It's like peas.
No, we never give him much.
Yeah.
Get out of here.
And
And stop avoiding the question, Kyle.
Yeah, I was like, what
Take
are
it
you
out of this
talking
one.
about? This isn't even.
I'm gonna go with breathe again.
Nope.
No.
Ed.
See, at least I know this one. The first one, if we're counting duets, is the song with Babyface, "Give You My Heart." That's the first one. But if we're not counting that,
Ooh.
it's "Love Should Have Brought You Home."
Okay, that's what I had.
I know my
according to
tone.
Wikipedia.
I have
Love should have brought you home. Wasn't a big hit, was
Yeah, it was.
That was a gigantic
Was it?
hit. Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah,
it?
that
Oh,
was a big deal.
who knew? I was also kind of a baby back then. Leave me alone, man.
10-year-old.
Well,
10-year-old
I should
wearing
have
a
known
diaper.
Backstreet, but I didn't know. I knew Tony.
All right.
All right. Good job, guys. Kyle ran away with that one. He had the hard questions and pulled it out.
Oh my gosh, the softballs.
Yeah. When you gave me that Tamia question, I was like, oh, I don't know, but I pulled through.
Even though the album came out like a year ago,
No, that was like 5 years ago, wasn't it?
it felt like it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Everything feels like just now, but Tom, are we done with the trivia?
Yeah. Good
So
job,
Oh,
guys.
I hope so.
I guess I'm the winner for this week. Ed, maybe you'll have a chance next week to redeem yourself. But
I got your next week player.
I mean, we have so much to talk about this week in on the SoulBack podcast. But Ed, you just had a devastating loss with that R&B trivia, so I'm gonna throw you a little bit of an alley-oop here.
Okay.
Can we talk about Silk Sonic?
Now we can actually talk about something I know about. Yes, Silk Sonic.
What is Silk Sonic?
So Silk Sonic is a player's dream come true because we have a combination of artists that I actually kind of love. You got Anderson .Paak, who I don't feel like we talk about enough around here, who has really spent the past decade as one of the premier R&B kind of hip hop's go-to hook guy. I'm not going to say he's the new Nate Dogg because y'all run away with the he's the new something, but he is one of the more preeminent hooks bringers and almost always achieves, except on that Busta Rhymes album. I ain't like that. But besides that, he almost always comes through. And then you got my boy Bruno, who has kind of reinvented himself in the past few years as going from more of like this hyperactive funk pop guy to this throwback soul singer. And when you put these two artists together, who actually have very similar sounds and styles when they're both on the same page, player, you got some magic. So their new single is really giving me the good feelings. I feel like that this album, I don't know when we're going to get this album, it could be something serious. Mr. Leo, your rebuttal, please.
I can't wait.
Ed, I 100% disagree with you.
Oh, God.
I know you're shocked to hear that.
Yes,
First
please.
of all, I love Bruno Mars and Anderson .Paak. I think they're amazing artists. But if you had told me this song was recorded in 1977, I would have believed you.
Well, why is that a bad thing?
Because how can a song come out and sound dated off the bat? That's not what I'm looking for. I'm looking for to progress the R&B genre. We're not going backwards. We're borrowing elements from those eras and then progressing the sound. Bruno already got away with stealing from New Jack Swing. Now he's stealing from the golden era of the 70s. Like he's just copying that sound.
Tom,
go ahead, Kyle, before I go in, please.
So what about songs like Fine China by Chris Brown, Suit and Tie by Justin Timberlake, Blurred Lines by Robin Thicke? Don't those...
It's inspired.
What about your girl Joyce, and we'll get to her later, Kyle, who just released an album, which I really like, that is vintage 2000s R&B and is being celebrated as a return to the sound. There's a difference between celebration and straight up copy pasting. I feel like Leave the Door Open is more inspired by than just copy paste stylistics.
It's just tired to me, man. It's almost like taking the easy way out. Now, for what it is a good song, but
it's not what you're looking for.
Not only to say that, it's not what I'm looking for, but let me think of an artist, Donnell Jones and I don't know, John B, say, for example, had put that song together and came out, no one would have even noticed in terms of the mainstream. So because this is Bruno Mars, he can do no wrong.
Sure.
Well, see, I'm glad you brought that up because a lot of this, and I don't want to spend forever on this, but you got me on one. So this has come up a lot. And one thing that I want to talk about in this space is the difference between why Bruno can get away with this, but the Jasmines and the Joes and the whomever that we celebrate cannot get away with this. And we have spent years throwing stones and tomatoes at the Brunos for co-opting a sound. And I don't want to get into the stupid, as we've discussed many times, appropriation, because I have argued that a million times. Not appropriation. Tom, I know that's not what you're talking about. But the issue is with the Brunos and versus whomever else is, you're right. It's kind of not fair that Bruno can do this and get celebrated. And then we have thousands of other artists who try to and don't get celebrated. But in my opinion, and again, I'm not saying you do this. I'm talking about the Twitter folks who get annoyed about this. Don't get mad at the artist. The issue going back to all of this is the industry, because the industry has propped up certain artists that they have picked and chosen to be certain levels of headliners. And okay, yes, we will give them the promotion. Yes, we will give them the avenues. However, it's not fair to say they can't do that because that's not their fault. The fault is the industry that does not celebrate the other artists who would be able to. And the artists that are getting to shine, Cousin Chris and whoever else, y'all too busy trying to sound like 21 Savage than to celebrate the R&B that you're supposedly the king of.
Well, I'll make this quick, Kyle, because I know we don't have a lot of time for this topic. But to me, Bruno congratulations, great job. But if you're in that position to who you are, where you're going to be celebrated no matter what, uplift those who of that generation who you're emulating with you. You know, he didn't really do that for New Jack Swing, and now he's not going to do that for the era he's emulating now. Bring those artists up with you. Remind people how much those artists influence you. Bring them on the stage with you. I would love to see that. I think that needs to happen.
He actually has. He's done that. Of course, you know, that doesn't get the headlines, but no, he absolutely does that. But again, the industry is the problem, not Bruno, not Doja Cat getting an award for an R&B. That ain't on Doja Cat. That's on the people who created the awards. So your complaints are legit, but we need to realize who we need to be mad at. And it is an industry that picks and chooses.
Well, I have 2 points here. Great discussion, by the way. One, I do think this is a great opportunity for Bruno to really uplift Anderson .Paak into the mainstream. I know we've had discussions about this, and he's big in hip hop, but Bruno has a much bigger audience than just hip hop and R&B. He touches everywhere around the world. So if he can bring a talented artist like Anderson to the main stage, I'm more than happy. And the other thing I'll give Bruno credit for is, yes, he probably does get the opportunities that some of our favorites, some of our veterans don't, and he probably gets the resources that, you know, our favorites don't. But to his credit, he took those resources and he made it into a good song. It's not like he wasted those resources and made it into a crappy song. So I'm going to give him credit for that. And Silk Sonic, I'm excited for the album. But Tom, I'm going to throw it back to you. 2 questions here. Number 1, because Ed had put Bruno Mars in his top 50 R&B artists of all time.
God, this again.
Well, now that we've witnessed the 24K Magic album, and now the Silk Sonic album is on its way, can you put him in your top 50 right now? Yes, just yes or no.
Absolutely not. Are you kidding me?
All right.
He's further away from the top 50 than he was before.
Well, okay. Well, hold on. Well, let me ask you guys this then. Tom, you can go first on this. So we had because I was looking back at our old podcasts, which you can now check out on Spotify. We have like 5 years worth of podcasts that you can check out if you haven't already. And you can also check us out at SoulBack on Instagram and Twitter. Go follow us on our new accounts. But here's my question. So one of the questions that we had posed when the 24K Magic album came out was, can Bruno Mars save R&B by doing this New Jack Swing sound? And I think from what I've seen, nobody has really attempted to copy that. Trap has continued to dominate. So the question for you, Tom, is, can this Silk Sonic era fix R&B, at least on a mainstream level? Because there's a lot of great independent acts, but on a mainstream level, can Silk Sonic do it?
100% no, because kids, which are who the mainstream pitches to, are not listening to Bruno Mars and Anderson .Paak. I mean, that's just as simple as that. You tell me high school kids are going to listen to this? It's not happening. They're both in their 30s, I believe. I don't know how old Anderson is, but Bruno definitely is. It's not going to work. No chance.
Ed? No, I think when it comes down to it, I know we have always been talking about who is going to be the savior. There are so many issues at play and just factors to be involved. R&B is not going to be saved by one album. I was talking about this on the Cypher the other day on Facebook. Come join us on the Soul and Stereo Cypher there. But no, there are so many issues. The head issue, as I talked about earlier, being an industry-wide issue of the way R&B is presented and how hip hop right now is the biggest thing. So the industry, mainstream-wise, is being tailored and retooled in the hip hop sound. It's going to take more than one single album to suddenly propel us to 1994 levels of Boyz II Men. It ain't happening.
So we'll see what happens with Silk Sonic, Bruno, and Anderson. It is cool to see 2 artists coming together and creating quality music. So I'm looking forward to it. And hopefully there's more on the way. But speaking of Silk Sonic, let's talk about some of our favorite music picks for that came out recently. Ed, of course, you got the Silk Sonic record. Why do you love this record so much?
Because unlike Tom, I think that it is a look at the past, but gives some more kind of a celebration of that past instead of wiping it off as old dustiness. And beyond that, it's just a fun song. I have reviewed and if I haven't reviewed, I've discussed and listened to hundreds of albums in the past decade, hundreds of R&B albums. And unfortunately, not all of them, but many of the majority, especially in the past 4 or 5 years, have two of the same qualities. Even they're tailored to the hip hop sound, aka trap, or they're just vibey, sleepy, boohoo, no emotion. I hate everybody. You suck. Like, there is not an energy in R&B that R&B used to be based on. There's so much energy that comes with it. It's not just about being miserable or emulating hip hop. And this gives me that. It gives me that feel good energy that R&B has been missing. So thankfully, they are bringing some more of that to the table. And we're seeing that with other artists as well. But if they're at the forefront and able to put this on a mainstream level, that can't hurt.
Amazing. Tom, what is your pick for this week? What do you have? What are you feeling?
I got to go with our girl, Kelly Price. So when we interviewed her a few weeks ago about her upcoming EP, Grace, which is a Motown project, Motown gospel project. So it's going to be a gospel EP. We didn't know what to expect. And she said it was like up-tempo dance, nothing like you're used to from gospel. And now when we hear the single Dance Party, it's just feel-good music. No matter what genre you label it as, it's just what makes you want to move. And that's what we need right now. She told us she was giving us something we need right now in these tough times. And thank you, Kelly Price, for delivering. Love that one.
All right, Kelly, I have not heard this yet. I missed this one over my break, so I got to check it out.
Ed, when it comes to gospel, because when I think of gospel, I think of like Kim Burrell singing, doing all these crazy runs. Kelly had mentioned in an interview that Tom and I did with her that this gospel album is not going to be your typical gospel album. There's going to be R&B, there's going to be hip hop, there's going to be a lot of different influences on it, dance as well. Is the gospel community okay with that? Or because like I know R&B fans, they're super like fickle and annoyed when people try to do different things. Is that the same with the gospel folks?
Player, let me tell you, if you think that R&B is fickle, you go get Sister Patterson, Lady Who, from your usher board on your church, the number 2 usher board with a big hat. She don't want to hear any dancing in her church. But this has long been a debate in the gospel community. And the fact is, I remember when Kirk Franklin first came out and he was doing up-tempo tracks that sounded like R&B, and they wanted to call him the devil. And look how he has transformed R&B. I remember when gospel trap became a thing, and I wrote a whole article about it, and everybody got mad about it. I still kind of stand by that, though. But the thing is, music evolves. Gospel is part of that evolution. And just like R&B, as long as the heart of it continues to be the same and not be gimmicky, it's most definitely gospel. So, yeah, we've had up-tempo gospel. We've had hip-hop gospel. We've had all of this. And Kelly, an established artist who knows gospel. If you go back to her debut, she was singing gospel songs on that. Yep. You get an established artist to put all those elements into this EP, it could be something serious. So yeah, the old church ladies gonna be mad, but they've been mad since 1991. It'll be fine.
Tom, that reminds me. Remember back in the 90s when every artist would have like a gospel interlude?
I mean, that's because R&B was pure and originated in the church back then. Thank goodness for that era. Now where does it originate at? I'm afraid to ask where it originates from now.
Drake.
Yeah, it originated from IG, and that's why it sounds terrible. It's all booty music and sadness. Misery, pain, and panties. That's all you got.
Oh boy. My music pick
Kyle,
for the
what's
week.
your pick?
Yeah, like my music pick for the week is gonna be, no surprise here, Joyce Wrice, her album Overgrown. And Ed, you had a chance to review it, so I'm curious to hear your thoughts on it. But I'm gonna go with the Lucky Day record with Joyce, Falling in Love, because in Ed's review, Tom, you got to check out this song. In Ed's review, Ed says it sounds something straight out of Mega Man.
Yes, it did. That beat.
Man.
The beat sounds like Mega Man 3, one of the boss levels.
I'm about to log off this podcast and check it out right now. I love it.
It's in a good way, trust me. Yes, I am a fan of the album, and Kyle hit me. He was like, what, 5 stars? You can't get it 5 stars? Yep. I didn't like it that much, but I do like it, and especially for Kyle's generation. If you're missing that 2000s R&B vibe, your girl brings it to it in a very authentic way. So great album. I feel like it's going to be one of those sleepers at the end of the year when I do my year-end list, and people are going to be like, who is Joyce Wrice? I haven't. Get on it now, so you will be caught up. Then when I do year-end list and it winds up in the top 10 or whatever, you aren't left off.
Now, there is one thing I have to call you out on, Ed. So on Joyce's album, there's an interlude by some guy named Westside Gunner, or Westside Gun.
West Side Gun, yes.
So I
My boy.
recall 2 weeks ago when I listened to this album, I was complaining about that interlude, and you replied with, "Well, you know nothing about hip hop, so of course you don't like this." And then I read your review,
Yes.
and you said that the interlude was not good.
It was, yes. And the reason is there's a time and place for everything. If you know West Side Gun, shout out Griselda, my boy Benny the Butcher put out an album. Now look, if your name is Benny the Butcher and West Side Gun, you know the type of music that you're gonna bring. And he did not soften his sound, I'll put it like that, for this interlude. And you got, look, Freddie Gibbs, aka Gangsta Gibbs, is on her latest single. He was able to bring hip hop, but he wasn't talking about all the people he was gonna murder on the way to going on a date with Joyce. He was able to kind of keep it there. And I wish West Side Gun talked less about who he was killing and more about R&B, and I think it would have worked a little bit better. I love him as a talent, but no play. I don't need to hear about your body count. Not on this song.
Tom, has Mobb Deep ever done an R&B feature aside from the Mariah record?
Ooh,
I want
scanning. Yes. Miss Jones album. There was a song called "Baby Maybe," which is actually really good. I love that song.
Is it a lovey-dovey song, or are they talking about killing people too?
No, they're not talking about killing people.
Okay.
They could actually be. I mean, you remember that 112 feature they had? I mean, they can do love songs when they need to in their own terms. But yeah. Shout out to Mobb Deep.
Sometimes. I love RIP Project. Shout out to Have. I love them, but they were able to bring it in. West Side was talking about killing people. Like, calm down, dude.
All right. Can we talk about Dru Hill? Because I was just checking out an interview that Cisco did with our friend Aries from Urban Bridges, a good friend of ours. But Cisco actually announced some very interesting news. He said that they're currently working on a Dru Hill reunion tour where every single member of Dru Hill will be on this tour. We're talking about Woody. We're talking about Scola, Tail, Smokey and Black, Nokio, Jazz, and Cisco all together. Tom, how epic is that?
I mean, I don't even know what to say. I'm surprised Woody is even down for this. But I guess it's I'm trying to find the words here. Yes, it's a good thing.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if anyone asked for that magnitude of a reunion, but I'm curious to see how it's going to play out. It's got to be kind of weird because, like, Player are the new guys, and then where are they going to fit when you bring back the other members that came in the middle, like Scola and Teo, and how is Jazz and Woody going to feel? And I don't know. I'm just glad our boy Nokio is back in the mix. Shout out to Nokio, and I'm curious to see how this plays out.
I'm excited, but I'm kind of like you, Tom. I'm just kind of like, how this gonna work? I just reviewed. We'll talk about this later. I reviewed New Edition's entire discography, and it recently on the site, and it reminded me of the Home Again album because it was such a big deal to have all the members on one album at one time. It's the only time it's happened, and that tour was like big deal. And this kind of reminds me of that, having all those members in place. But the difference is New Edition, when they had Bobby and they had Johnny, they were specific songs that you remember with each. I mean, I love Player, as you all know. I stand to the utmost. But like other than the one single, like they don't really have a big place. And then like even Scola and them, like they were around for maybe one or two songs. So incorporating all of them will be interesting to figure out how that would work out.
Well,
but just for the Dru Hill legacy, I'm down for it.
Kyle, can I ask you something? Because I almost feel like people are going to come out to a Dru Hill tour as long as Cisco is involved. I don't know if they necessarily care about. What do you think? I mean, how do you feel about that?
I think there's two separate things we have to look at. Yes, there's going to be people that just go to watch Cisco perform the thong song. There's going to be people like right now. There's a bunch of people that go to Dru Hill just because they want to hear "In My Bed" and all those
Yeah.
big records. It doesn't matter who's singing, as long as Cisco's there, they're gonna recognize the songs. They're gonna remember the memories. But then there's also those diehard Dru Hill fans who, as much as they love Cisco, they love Nokio, Woody, and Jazz just as much, and they love Teo and Scola as well. And now Playa, they've accepted them into that community. So it's really two different things we're looking at. What I will say, and it's gonna sound bad, but I don't think it should because it's gonna open up opportunities for groups like Dru Hill and who knows whatever group comes after this. But this pandemic, as you guys know, has taken a huge hit on all artists financially. So they're probably
Very.
looking at this as an opportunity. Hey, I can make some money, I can make some
Mm.
bread, get my family back together, because this time has been tough for everyone. So if Dru Hill can successfully pull
Damn.
this off, then I hope everyone follows suit. We see, and I don't want to name names here, but hey, maybe even Jodeci will go back on tour. It's a sad
Yeah.
reality.
Don't
I'm
name
not,
names.
yeah, I'm not trying to throw shade at anyone and judge them for wherever they are financially, but that has to play a role in it as well, I would say.
I mean, look at the
Yeah.
times. Like you said, like the pandemic has hurt everybody's pockets, and everybody, either on the sound of my voice or like right here now, has felt the financial impact. And when you think about an artist whose bread and butter, especially R&B artists,
Yeah.
your bread and butter is the touring and showing the album because y'all ain't buying nothing. I'm the only one still buying CDs. Tom, I bought an AZ CD the other day, but we'll talk about that offline.
Nice.
But the point is, when it comes down to it, this is the way artists earn their money, and they have not been able to earn their money in a year and a half. So this is an opportunity to play into the nostalgia, expand their legacy, and do some things that we can do to celebrate fans. I'm all for it as long as it's done right and respectfully.
And I'll just say one thing we've learned from all this: tomorrow's not promised. Make a comeback. That's what the fans want to see. Do it for the fans. I mean, some of these guys might not care about that. This is not focused on Dru Hill or anyone saying they don't care. But hey, you might not ever get another chance to reunite with your brothers. Make it happen.
Yeah. Let me ask you guys this about Dru Hill then, because I know they have an album on the way with Playa and Nokio and Cisco. That's been in the works for, I want to say, 3 years now. Troy Taylor was spearheading that one. In a hypothetical world, if this tour does take place with all the members, do you want an album to come with this, or do you just want it to be the tour?
I don't think we're gonna see that album ever come out, Kyle, or any album from the whole entire group. That's my opinion.
I tend to agree. It would be cool to have an ensemble album because I think that could be really awesome.
Yeah.
I do want that Troy Taylor album to come out because I just have an ink. Sometimes your boy just knows. I have an R&B sixth sense. I just kind of know when there's some heat on the way. And I think that album has some stuff on it.
Agreed.
So I would not be mad if this was released along with this tour, because let's be real, most albums are just essentially just ways to produce interest in tours. Unfortunately, with it just being those 4 members and then being on a tour of like 200 people from Baltimore, that's going to be kind of a weird and misleading thing. So it probably won't work, but I guess I'm being selfish. I just want the album. Somebody hook me up. Troy, put in the DMs.
Yep. And if this tour does happen, what songs do you want to hear on this tour? What's that one song you want them to see to perform live? I want to hear Woody sing April Showers live. I've been waiting on that one.
Yeah, we gotta hear that.
That would be dope.
Yeah.
I want to find some way to I feel like they will have some weird ensemble version of like In My Bed or Tell Me or 5 Steps. I can feel like they somehow make some like 10-minute version of one of their classic songs with just everybody on it. Yeah. I would want to see how that would work.
How will they fit in, Tom, if they all do the Tell Me dance together? If they're just hopping around?
That ain't happening. This ain't 1996. Those knees don't work like they do.
That is true.
There you go.
Yeah. So shout out to Dru Hill. We can't wait to see what you guys come up with. Cisco, we're still waiting on an interview, so come through. But while we wait for Cisco, I've got some exciting news for you as we enter into the chicken intermission, Tom.
Oh boy, the chicken intermission.
Chicken intermission.
Did I take a wrong turn somewhere? Where am I at?
I don't know. I've been asking that all podcasts.
Well, the chicken intermission is really just an intermission for us to talk about food. I don't know why I named it chicken intermission, because we could be talking about fish, we could be talking about beef, we could be talking about pork, and we can even be talking about vegetables here. But today, we're going to be talking about something extraordinary that just came out in Canada.
Just give me some chicken.
We're going to be talking about the KFC Popcorn Chicken Pizza that Pizza Hut is serving. Have you guys seen this?
You showed us a picture of it. That's the only time I've ever seen it.
Let me explain this pizza to you guys. It is a regular pizza, or pizza crust, and the sauce is gravy. You've got your cheese. It has corn in it for some reason, and then you've got your little popcorn chickens. Now, if you guys don't know what popcorn chicken is, it's like a mini crunchier chicken nugget. But that's the pizza. So, would you guys try this pizza?
Did
you say gravy?
Gravy, yeah. It doesn't have marinara. It doesn't have barbecue sauce. It has gravy, KFC gravy.
Oh.
Did you just? I mean, if we're talking gravy, corn, and hunks of chicken, that sounds like the stuff that comes out, not the stuff that goes in. First of all. Now, I've seen the pizza because Kyle shared a little photo in our group chat, and I likened it to this. Now, this goes, shout out to my 80s babies. There was an episode of the Ninja Turtles, and there was an episode where they had a pizza, and they put like these alien eggs on the pizza, and aliens would hatch, and when you put the pizza in the microwave. That's what that pizza reminded me of. It was gross, and it had these weird-looking meatballs that were like eggs to me. You can eat it at your own risk and have an alien in your belly.
Hopefully, I'm not going to ruin a sponsorship opportunity here, but I wouldn't even eat KFC chicken by itself.
Oh man,
no!
No, I can't give you that. I'll get down with some KFC.
That's one of the greasiest items you can ever find on this earth.
I mean, Pizza Hut's not that far away,
but it's still good.
Pizza Hut's not that far away from that.
That is actually true. Pizza Hut, you have the box, they give it to you, take out, the thing is already leaking through at the bottom.
Yep.
It's
I will say
That's
this
true.
about Pizza Hut. Is it the greatest pizza ever? No, but out of all the franchises, I would say it's the most consistent.
I used to say that, but I will say, and I know people will scoff, Domino's has stepped their game up. I don't know what happened.
Yep.
They have stepped their game up. So I would put them at most consistent, but I feel Tom on the KFC. I have never had a chicken. You bite into the chicken, and one bite, all the skin slides off like a slippery because the chicken is so greasy. But I like the seasoning. It tastes good. You're going to be eating bare chicken.
All right. Well,
I love the chicken intermission.
Oh man, I guess I'm eating that pizza by myself. Anyways, I've got some.
Yes, you are.
I've got some big news to announce here. Well, first of all, Keyshia Cole had dropped her single "I Don't Want to Fall in Love" right after her versus battle with Ashanti, which we've talked about before, so we don't need to get into that again. But what's new is that she announced that after this upcoming album, which is produced by Ron Fair, who's her longtime collaborator and music executive, Keyshia Cole says, I'm out. I'm retiring. I'm going to focus on my family. Now, we've heard people say that they're going to retire and they come back. But hypothetically, if this is really the end for Keyshia Cole, I mean, even before we talk about impact and all that stuff, can you guys just bring me back to when you first got introduced to Keyshia Cole and that journey from beginning till now?
Oh, I've talked about it many times, especially during the verses when I was arguing with you, Kyle, about Ashanti. But I remember when I first heard her with the Kanye West song, and I heard that song, I want to say like I may have been home in Virginia. I was somewhere where I wasn't usually. I was living in Louisville at the time. And I heard this song and I thought it was great from this artist that I didn't really know. And then I didn't hear the song again for months. And then it popped up and then it had a video and everything. And I really liked her style early on. And from that first album, especially to that second album, I really thought that she was it. I thought that she was going to be Kyle, your generation's Mary J. Blige, the soulful girl from the hood who was able to speak to pain and speak to relationships in a way that Mary J. did in the previous generation, for my generation. So I had a lot of respect, and I just loved her. When she got into kind of that BET sitcom era, I mean, not sitcom, the reality show, she seemed to start losing a little bit of consistency for me. Then she stepped it up again with a few albums later in her career that I thought were really overlooked. Mm-hmm. So she's a little up and down, but if you look at her career overall, there might be some lost potential, but there's some really great albums. So I really thought that there was a lot that Keyshia gave us in that decade of the 2000s, and I wish it carried over into this decade. Didn't quite work, but I always have a lot of love and respect for my girl.
I'll let you actually speak on this one, Kyle, because it's more of your generation. I was there, obviously, watching her trajectory, but I'm curious to hear your thoughts watching it play out.
I mean, like Ed mentioned, I thought Keyshia Cole was gonna be the next big thing because I remember that first album, and that was a slow grind for her to get that one really, to the top because she had dropped like 2 or 3 singles before it really took off, and I was one of the ones that like caught on to it early. It was her album, and it was Trey's album, his first album, and those were 2 albums that I knew about that the whole world didn't really pay attention to, and I knew at that time, I'm like, man, there's some really good songs on this album. And then the singles worked, and she blew up on that second album. And man, that second album, when I go back, I still remember when that album leaked, or should I say came out? But I'm gonna say leaked because I remember downloading that album. It was the 2000s. That's just what we did. But I remember hitting play on that.
That's how we did.
And I was like, man, this is some serious work. And from that point on, I knew she was gonna be a star. And then as the years went by, like Ed mentioned, some great songs. Woman to Woman is actually a very underrated album, in my opinion. She also had some albums that I didn't really feel as much. I think with her third album, because she kind of moved in a different direction when I still wanted that sad Keyshia. Wasn't for me, but I know a lot of people love that album. But overall, like when I think about artists that came from that generation, there's not many that I can think of that have had the success and the longevity because people still reminisce about those Keyshia Cole records today. So from my perspective, she's good. And if she wants to retire now, I'm good with that. Like she's given us all that we really need. And I'm grateful for that.
Did she give a reason for retiring?
Yeah, she wants to take care of her kids.
Well, I mean, if she's well off financially, that she doesn't need to work anymore. Most of us have to still work, unfortunately. Yeah. Right, guys? But
don't remind me.
Good for her. Who knows, though? I mean, maybe she lost the love for it because most artists create because they love doing it. You know, most of them don't do it just for money. Well, actually, a lot of them do. That's true. But then there are a whole bunch that do it because they love it. Maybe she lost the love. But at the same time, I mean, I'm sure she'll be back. There's no way she's never going to release music again.
Yeah. And Kyle, I mean, Tom, you made a great point. I was reading an interview or something while I was gone on actually it wasn't, it was a song. It was the song of Andre 3000 and T.I. And a lot of people give Andre crap because it's like, oh, you're one of the greatest, but you never came out with a solo album and you never did another Outkast album. And he kind of admits in that song, he was like, I like creating. I don't care about money. I don't care about all the stuff that comes with fame. I just like making music. And that's probably why he's just wandering around random streets playing flutes and crap. He likes making music, but he doesn't like all that comes along with it. So I can understand a Keyshia being like, you know, I'm tired of the politics. I'm tired of fighting to get my records on the radio. Tired of fighting with stans on Twitter, talking about Beyonce. I just want to spend time with my family. Maybe I'll like make some songs on the side. As far as these retirements, I mean, I never trust them because they never stand up. I can't think of anyone who said, I'm going home forever, and they did. Everybody always comes back. Whatever. If she wants to take some time, cool. But she's put in her work.
I'll say one last thing on this topic. I'll let you go.
Has Joe come back yet? Because I don't think he's coming back.
No.
No, I've heard rumors that he has something coming up this year, but that's just rumors.
Tyrese hasn't either.
Nope.
Now you know
Tyrese
Tyrese.
said he
Tyrese don't believe Tyrese.
But the last thing I'll say about Keyshia Cole. Keyshia Cole, we love you. Unblock us. I don't know what
That's
you're
true.
doing.
That's true. If this is really the end, just unblock us so we're good again.
Unblock you to turn your account off. You might get that happen.
Well, let me ask you guys this, and it doesn't really have to pertain to Keyshia Cole, but these retirement albums, these last albums, what do you want from a last album? Do you want stuff that sounds like them at their peak, or do you want something that's still progressive? Like, what do you want?
That's a good question.
For me, it's just make something from the heart. You know, like I don't care what it is, as long as it seems authentic and doesn't feel forced. I'm good with it. You know, that's all I can think of.
I kind of hate to steal Tom's answer, but I think he's right. Like I don't necessarily want 2005. I love 2005. I love 2007 Keyshia. I don't necessarily need that because that's not where we are. But I just want something that feels like Keyshia and doesn't feel like Keyshia pretending to be Cardi B. Like, I don't want that. Just give me something authentic to your journey.
I don't know. After listening to that Joyce Wrice album, I want everything to be 2005 again. I'm sorry.
I wouldn't mind.
All right. So, Tom, is it that time? Do we have a love letters for Ed today?
Oh no,
boy. So for those not familiar, Ed does this awesome column on his site, soulandstereo.com, called Love Letters. Ed, you can actually explain it better than I can.
Yeah. So essentially what Love Letters is we have readers send your boy questions about their love life. And since I've been married for 1 trillion years and I spend my time listening to sad love songs, I guess I can tell people about what's going on. Now, most of the time, it's just me trolling people. But hey, maybe sometimes there's a little bit of actual advice in those things.
So what I'm going to do is give Ed a lyric from a song and have him respond to it as he's giving advice to the person who said that lyric. Now, let me ask you a question, Ed. Are you able to respond from a female's perspective?
Sometimes, obviously I cannot respond from a female's perspective, but a lot of times I'll get some outside help when it comes to that. So a lot of my questions and responses, I got to kind of feel from the ladies. Yes.
So this is a lady who's coming to you for advice because she just had a white dude come up to her and say, "Are you feeling my Timbs, my baggy jeans, my thug appeal?" Ed, how should I respond to this guy?
Oh my God. First of all, I need to figure out what year this is, because if you're wearing your Timbs and your thug appeal in 2021,
shout out to whoever knows what song that's from. That's
we all know that song. That's JC.
But any of the listeners, we don't know. Yeah, that's JC Chazé from NSYNC on the Black song. What's that song called again?
Bring It All to Me.
Bring It All to Me. Yes.
It's not called Thug Appeal.
Help this young.
No, it's not called Thug Appeal.
Help this young lady out.
Let me help Young Black. I can't remember which one it was. So let me help Young Black on this. Now, if a brother I can't even talk. So are we saying that she said this to the brother or the dude?
No.
Or did the dude say it to her?
This girl's coming to you for advice because a white dude tried to kick game to her using that line. And she doesn't know what to do. If she should take him serious or not.
Well, first of all, in 2021, I'm not going to take anybody serious with the construction worker work. Like, I mean, we got away with that in 1999. It probably ain't going to work right now. So if the first thing you got to talk about is your clothes and your thug swag, I'm going to need you to step up the convo a little bit and tell me a little bit about your actual personality that doesn't have to do with something that I saw across the street. So number one, that's a little bit of a red flag. If the first thing that you have to offer to someone is about your thug appeal. Maybe West Side Gun did that to Joyce, and that's why we got their interlude, because he certainly talked about his thug appeal when he talked about having girls on all fours and killing people.
Yeah.
Jeez. So it's not going to work.
It ain't working, dog. I'm gonna need her to read between the lines and understand that if a brother comes to you talking about his thugness, don't be mad when you're dating him 10 years down the line and he's like, I can't come home tonight. I gotta hug the block, move this weight. And she's like, why are you selling drugs? Well, he said that he had a thug appeal. So why are you surprised?
Damn.
You know
that poor JC.
You know what this just makes me realize? The 90s and the early 2000s was such an innocent time. Like I'm sure people question the line as being suspect, but if you had put that out today, there'd be a think piece on it. No question.
Oh my God.
If there was social media back then, imagine in social media being around back then. He would be over.
Well, it's funny because I think if he did it back then, social media would celebrate him because everybody loved NSYNC back then. But no, if you take that line and put it in 2021, you tell some Gen Z person about that line today, there will be a think piece out by the morning about appropriation and everything else. Leave JC alone. He was just kicking game.
Oh, boy.
And there you have it. So, Tom, I think it's time for everyone's favorite feature. I see this on our Twitter all the time, our Instagram. We call it Whatever Happened To.
Oh boy.
Another standout of Ed's site.
Yes. And if you guys haven't, if you guys haven't, go check out Soul in Stereo because you can read up on all your favorite Whatever Happens To. But Ed, who is today's?
Okay, for today, I got a shout out. I started getting a little feeling this when we were talking about Bruno a little bit, but I got to shout out my man, Aaron Hall. So let me tell you about my man, Aaron. In 1992 or 3, the biggest song, one of my favorite songs of all time, Aaron Hall, I Miss You. Also, one of the most depressing videos of all time.
Yes.
But
sad.
For everybody who loves to, I was going to say, for those who miss the music of He Who Shall Not Be Named from the early 90s, you just have to look at the person whose career he copy-pasted, which would be Aaron Hall. But my man Aaron doesn't have the most sparkling of record either. So we'll stay away from that and talk about how his influence with Guy has been one of the kind of shining stars of the New Jack Swing era. Guy, Teddy Riley were able to move that forward. That should have put him at the top of R&B by the early 90s as we were moving away from New Jack Swing. And it started to work, but he just couldn't get out of his own way. And with the other person kind of co-opting his whole swag, he kind of went kind of obscure, even though he had some heat in the mid-90s. I love All the Things and a few other joints. But today, if we're just kind of moving away from the drama of his former girlfriend, believe it or not, my man is a dog trainer out in like LA or somewhere.
Wow.
So if you need your dog trained, take him to Aaron Hall. He got you. He'll sing some sad songs and get your dog to not pee on the floor.
Wow.
That's sad, guys, because we need a Guy reunion. Even we'd love to hear a new Guy album. I mean, I doubt we're ever going to get it.
No.
You know, we talked to Damian Hall last year, and he seemed optimistic that was going to happen. But here we are nearly a year later. Nothing has even come close.
He has been pushing for a reunion for years. He as in my man Aaron, but it just hasn't gotten off the ground. I don't know. I've heard different rumors about why it hasn't. And I won't put rumors out there. But this is something that I feel like could happen. All the members seem like that there could be in place. Yeah. And Lord knows nostalgia is a big thing right now. If Guy came back, and Teddy, we know he's still got it in the studio. I'd be all for a reunion. And then he can have like a feature with DMX and have like some co-opting in there with his dog training, have a beat with some dogs barking in the background. Aaron be doing that thing.
Plus, hey, I think Guy had been doing a couple of shows before the pandemic happened. But hey, the pandemic, once that happens, everything is on the table at this point. If it makes money, I think basically people are going to listen. So Aaron Hall, we love you. We actually need to interview Aaron Hall at some point too. He's one of the unsung heroes.
Yep, we never have.
Yeah. You think the Jay Holiday podcast was wild? Wait till you get Aaron up here.
All right,
Oh man.
I think we're out of time. This has been fun. Before I let you guys plug in whatever you guys have to plug in, again, follow us on our new social media pages or at SoulBack on both Twitter and Instagram. Um,
Yep.
I think we're gonna also be setting up a new YouTube channel as well, just to upload all this content in. We want to make sure that you guys don't miss any of this, just because we have so much going on from our site as well as Ed's site. But Ed, let's start with you here. The Joyce Wrice album is out. You did a review on that. I read that. I'm very upset you didn't give it 5 stars, but I'll take a 4. What else do you have going on?
Yes, go check out Joyce. I think it is one of the better albums of the year. Might be the best. We'll see. But this is one of the better albums of the year. Check that out. I mentioned my man AZ, one of, in my opinion, maybe the most underrated hip hop artist of all time.
Really?
I ranked his discography. Yes. Talk about 5 stars. He got a 5-star album. So check out my review of AZ's entire discography. I got a new edition of Love Letters, as you kind of alluded to. Lord, this one lady asked, she found that her man was cheating and sent a DM to the person she was cheating, but the cheater did not return her DM, and she's upset. Player, why are you talking to the person who cheated? You need to talk to your husband. But whatever. Check that out on Love Letters. And I've also got, with our boy Derek Dunn, new edition Head to Head. So we talk about their greatest albums, greatest singles, Johnny Gill, Bobby Brown. If Bobby really was the king of R&B, it's kind of a rundown of New Edition's entire career. So check that out. And I think I might review their discography as well pretty soon, because about time to rank them and show New Edition some love. That might be coming this coming week.
Awesome. And Tom, we've done we've done some interviews over the last few weeks.
Yeah, you've done a few lately. We've just been posting some new songs that have been coming out. It's been kind of quiet. I feel like it's going to pick up. There's some albums scheduled to come out. Talk about some of the interviews you did, Kyle.
So I interviewed Joyce last week. Bobby V, we did that one. We did Kelly Price. We did Jagged Edge, and I think I may be missing one, but we had a couple.
Breland too.
Breland as well. Yep. So we had a couple that we've done, and we have a couple more lined up. So you guys just stay tuned. R&B is alive and well. We're going to be covering all of your favorites. So again, follow us at SoulBack on Instagram and Twitter. And we might be giving away a couple of prizes soon.
Prizes. Everyone loves prizes.
Yeah, so what we're going to do is I'm going to buy that KFC pizza. I'll have a slice and everyone else can have the other slices.
Good luck mailing grilled chicken in a pandemic.
Oh, boy.
I mean, where we're at, we could literally ask for someone's address and just like Uber Eats them the freaking thing from their hometown. I mean, that would be a prize right there.
Do that.
That's true.
Yeah, that actually could work.
I don't know. Uber Eats,
their
delivery fees are outrageous.
Oh, yeah.
Their delivery is outrageous. Don't get me fussing about Uber Eats.
Oh, boy.
Is Postmate better?
I haven't tried Postmate, but I cut off Uber Eats when I ordered some, I don't remember what it was, some Chipotle or something. And they sent me a picture of it on my porch. I'm like, that's not my porch. So someone got my food. And I was like, that was it for them.
There goes another sponsor down the drain. So Uber Eats or KFC will not be sponsoring this podcast anytime soon.
Oh, did you get your food after all?
No, I didn't get my food.
Oh, my goodness.
And then I called them and they were like, well, they said it was delivered. I'm like, that's not my house. I got my money back, but I didn't I was hungry.
Well, at least you got your money back. All is fixed.
No, my anger was not fixed.
Oh, jeez.
All right, I think we're
forget Uber Eats.
Oh man, I think we're done for this week, Ed. Off the call, we'll talk about the new Ninja Turtle game that just came out or is about to come out, because that looks pretty cool. But
yes,
for everyone else, I think that's it for this week. So follow us on our new page, and we'll be back next week to talk more R&B. So you guys be safe, and we'll talk again next week.